Hi, my friends. My name is Trey, and this is my channel on YouTube and Odyssey, Trey's Myths and Tunes, and my daily show, Trey's Timeless 15 Minutes of Explain. And today, I'm going to discuss how the fact is, harmlessness is not pacifism. What bop a dee doo 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 doo. Bop a da ba da 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 da. Harmlessness is not pacifism. It's in some ways the opposite. Harmlessness is not pacifism. It is the vigilant bravery of peace. You don't come to a state of harmlessness as a pacifist, letting people walk all over you. It's just not the way nature works, okay? With karma, we also have to deal with the apex predators, for example, and their insane idea of social Darwinism. The reptilians and the Anunnakis inserted ideas into this world led to the massacres and destruction of the Essenes and the Cathars, who were truly teachers of harmlessness, such as me. I mean, I've learned from them what I teach. A lot of what I teach comes from the Gnostics, which was not acceptable because, again, they wanted to hybridize us in with their violent ways. They wanted us to believe in their violent ways. So, if you were, say, a monk who didn't speak out, in the Catholic Church, when you see these other priests raping little boys, that's pacifism. But are you really harmless? So when I first got to this town, I told this story recently in a video, and tried to buy this man asked me if I wanted to buy any weed. And I said, yeah, and he threw this bag, tiny little plastic square bag for a gram of weed at me. And Officer Wendy put her hand on my arm because I stupidly didn't look around, and I grabbed it. And, he got busted for shrooms too. And on the way to the police station, he was like, this isn't happening. Then as I said before, he circled me with his girlfriend and his friends at this laundromat, and he said, well, you still didn't pay me the $10 or $20. And I said, well, it's the dealer's responsibility to be safe. And he was about to punch me out, and he said, I'm going to kick your ass. And I said, but I'm a pacifist. He said, but I'm not. And then he pummeled me and started kicking my ass. And gave me a good black eye. And then about a half hour later, I was getting a yoga lesson from in a tree from my first love in Santa Cruz, who I just recently mentioned in a video, got her MD and became a doctor, but she got past the MCAT in Santa Cruz. Anyway, it was a crazy day, almost 20 years ago now. But ever since then, I thought, well, maybe I'm not a pacifist. Maybe I should defend myself, So Mark Passio calls pacifism is about as clear a pure form of Satanism as you can get. Just letting them step on you, letting them... harmlessness is mental and spiritual Aikido and regular Aikido. In the previous video, I mentioned the Jamaican Blue Mountain Rastafarians. Is a pretty clear example of harmless beings who are not pacifists. They're willing to protect their rights with firearms, but they're not going to use them for any other reasons. David Rodriguez, when he didn't use car insurance and the police would tackle him, he said, just roll over. I say don't roll over. I say don't self-victimize. Don't victimize yourself and go into the situation where the police are going to even find you, ideally. I mean, that's, don't don't hold up the sign saying I'm an anarchist like he did. Although, I'm really thankful he did that because I learned so much. And it was really a wonderful opportunity to meet freedom lovers. I recommend checking out his YouTube channel, Freedom Lovers on YouTube, to learn more from him. And just don't victimize yourself, ideally, through civil disobedience, through what I'm doing now, through realizing rent is slavery and just not doing it. Or in this case, also because I probably would have rented if there was something available that wasn't insanely out of range financially. If you get into a situation where you can YIMBY, then YIMBY, Do whatever you can to, through civil disobedience, through not breaking any laws, to reassert your rights. Now, this also brings up Richard Mack and the Constitutional Sheriff's Posse that he started in 2020 with the idea that he's training sheriffs to not obey these unconstitutional, harmful mandates, but just obey, laws that promote harmlessness, right? So Mike Mattingly, no, actually it was another guy Craig gave me this card that said, Mike Mattingly wrote this song about it. Don't cross that thick red line. No victim, no crime. Don't cross that thick red line. And it's a little card I got to give the cops that says, I did not hurt anyone. No victim, no crime. So this card is an example of how you can physically attempt to reassert harmlessness rather than taking a ticket for something, rather than being harmed for some bullshit because reptilians hijacked our society institutionally. Okay? Just remember, it's mental, spiritual, aikido, and aikido. And to get back your rights, you might have to do some civil disobedience unless you're I don't know which municipality you wouldn't have to. Psychological harmlessness. This is where you can really see where pacifism is a crock of shit. And it's not going to help. Because it's very psychologically harmful. And when you're born again, or when you realize that you want to be harmless, but pacifism is wrong, this is when you know you must do something. Not la-di-da, now I gotta take the bribe, and I've got I'm terrified to lose my job, I was threatened, I can't speak out, I won't be able to have a school to go to if I speak out. No, that's all callous, cowardly selfishness. No, you're gonna need a lot more self-respect to begin to be really harmless, but to be a pussycat pacifist, you're just going to say, oh no, that's just a storm, and he doesn't really hear planes, that's his imagination. When I hear a motherfucking plane right now, as I've said many times, you would see the sun about at least once a day, but not in this fake ass atmospheric river. Where do you think they got the term atmospheric river? Well, their reptilian masters who write the news scripts gave them that idea, of course. Okay. In order to be psychologically harmless, you must act in a way that's psychologically harmless, not as a pacifist. For example, Hamza, or harmlessness, of Gandhi. And Gandhi's philosophy of the Satyagraha. Of course, he had India is the spiritual mother country on planet. One of the oldest countries devoted to spiritual awareness. So, they had the popularity of what I'm doing now, which is completely unpopular here, to be an ascetic, just having what you need. But the Satyagraha movement, part of it was about reclaiming land and public space, which, again, the Santa Cruz Voluntarists did a great job of while they could, until the They destroyed it by taking out the leader, you know, and I'm hoping that they're actually about to bring it back. Supposedly. But just remember, it takes great courage. Yeah, studying the Gandhian principles can teach you how to be harmless and not a pacifist idiot. Okay, freedom from karmic bondage. You cannot be harmless with karmic bondage. Still working on that one. Having the great courage is a key. You know, this silly, the cliche saying is certainly accurate in any time, but it's one of those meme cliches that's always true. You know, however it goes, for evil to do whatever it wants, the good have to do nothing. You know, good people have to sit there and do nothing for evil to rule. Well, this has become more blatantly obvious than ever, particularly in Santa Cruz. You see, you know, young men with long hair and men of all ages with long hair who look like hippies who never take off their mask. And I debate on wanting to say something and realizing these people are actually in the suicidal Jerry Garcia death cult or scientism death cult. What am I going to tell them? It's 3 years into this shit. So, on the other example, Ron DeSantis, although I don't like, rules, the last video, as I've said, I'm more of an anarchist, but through making laws and rules, Ron DeSantis has, single-handedly destroyed a lot of the violent plans, or at least some of them, not through pacifism, through suing their ass, through actions that were harmless, through acting upon his conscience to be harmless. That's the key to being really harmless. You'll never be a pacifist again. You know, think about this. Jesus threw the money changers out of the temple. Yeshua, the Christ, was a Gnostic. It was not about bend over and take the shot, or bend over and take the whip. Bend over and be a slave. Christ was fully harmless, but Christ was no pacifist. Pacifism is a pathetic ideation that I gave up after that kid punched me out, because I realized it was wrong at that point. It's like, well, I don't think I should let this kid punch me out. He was into meth or whatever, it just didn't seem right. Of course, I didn't go into any situations that stupid ever again, like in that same way, but it also made me see what a fake-ass, la-di-da, inverted insertion into this new age of an idea it is, Be a pacifist, lay on the ground, and do whatever drugs you want, and the government will take care of you. And that's going to help out. I don't think so. Harmlessness takes a lot of discernment, a lot of self-respect and discipline. It doesn't just come because you're a lazy ass who's going to just be a Pollyanna and say, I'm a pacifist. I got to put up with whatever happens. This is how this war got in. This is how this planet got into this insane state of planet slavery. I mean, one of the ways is all the people who said, well, I'm a pacifist. I'll just let these slave masters take it all. This is truly not a harmless thought or action. But peacefully, respectfully, fighting back through awareness, through helping others, your friends and family become more aware, putting out videos like this. There's many things you can do to become more harmless, to attain harmlessness more, and none of them are going to be passive, or pacific, pacifistic. Okay, those words are all have the base sound passive, because passive is what they are, and passive is not the answer. The answer is to take respectful, conscious, harmless action on behalf of the Christ within and within all. If you enjoyed this, click subscribe and hit the notifications bell. Is probably the best way to get another video. and create a great one in harmlessness. Enjoy your day off if it's off, and make it a beautiful one, my family. I love you.